Hello everyone, Starshark presents. We're going to be talking about the evolution of online animation challenges and milestones. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise and please welcome TomSka and Eddache. Another round of applause, come on.
There you go, Eddie. Calm down. Thank you.
I know we got a lot of fans of the guys here, so here's a microphone. At any time in the discussion, please feel free, come over here and ask some questions. You are welcome to interfere. So,
sorry, can I just say, this front row is the funniest thing I've ever seen. It's like everyone is like laying in these chairs like this. Like this whole front row is just aggressively
a bit of a
chilled
VIP
out.
sector.
Lounging hard.
Yeah, we got to keep the energy up or they will fall asleep.
All right, guys, did you get a chance to get familiar with Vilnius already?
I was there last year, and yes, but this year I had big plans. Yesterday was going to be all in town, and then I was ill, and I stayed in bed for 15 hours. So I hear it's lovely.
Yes, I had a little explore while he was busy being sick. I was consoling him by having a great time without him.
What were the activities?
Yeah, he walked up and down the river just to keep my morale high. That's what it was.
Like a murderer.
Oh,
you know.
I mean, no one was worried about it, and now we are. You can't go anywhere with that beard. It's a murderous beard.
It's true.
Yeah. You were like, oh, I'm scared to walk down the river in case people kill me. It's like, my guy, you're the one that kills them. That's your job.
All right, guys. So you're here because you're famous, obviously, and because of a bit of an animation. How did you get into this?
Desperate need for approval, really. For me, it was just that I was so fucking lame. I didn't have any friends, so I went into my bedroom and played with the computer until cartoons fell out. And then people liked me. That was the main. You know, if I had friends, I probably wouldn't have been doing animations and stuff. Is the short version.
Do you have any now?
I pay them to be around me. Maybe. Does that count? I don't know.
Well, if you go broke someday, you'll find out.
That's when I'll find out who the real ones were. What about you?
Oh, I mean, I've grown up with like Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Disney, like all the major TV channels, and I was just an enormous fan. I'd watch so many cartoons, and it even got to the point where my older sister was like, aren't you a bit old for this now? And I was like, no, this is what I want to do. It's research, leave me alone.
Well, joke's on her, she still lives with her parents. What a wild bird.
All right, so how does a day look like? I mean, we see the product, but how's it born?
I'm not one for much structure, so it's pretty fluid. But if we're actually working, I mean, realistically, a day for me starts with Eddie will show up to my house. We will then sit at the dining table and not do anything until about 11 a.m. Then we'll head up to the studio.
We're talking at the time. We're not sitting there in silence.
Yeah.
Creative process.
Yeah. We sit there, talk about nothing relevant, head up to the studio at about 11, log on to Twitter, then it's lunch, and then we cram some work in at around about 3 p.m. Yeah, that's the main day. But no, I was like, what for us, work is so there's so many different things to do. You know, sometimes you can spend an entire day just like giving feedback. But then, and some days you're writing, some days you're
answering emails. There's like so many like.
But some days you're doing voice acting. Some days you're sketching out storyboards. So it's different every single day. But the one constant is procrastination.
It's almost like quite a fluid thing. 'Cause it's never structured. It's just because it's also mood based. You know, it could be we are not in the right headspace, or we haven't got the right energy to be like, let's just start creating brand new ideas. So instead, we might focus on developing other stuff and that kind of thing. So it's very fluid based on where we're at the time.
Yeah.
How to keep that up? Where do you get the creative energy from? Because you've been doing this for a long, long time already.
Oh, I'm a bad
sit and wait.
There's a lot of hacks that we have to try and force creativity when we're feeling particularly dry, like random word generators, like literally just websites that would just be like, here's some nouns, be like tree, dog, wind, and it's like, fuck, what if the wind blew a dog into a tree? Is that funny? Is there anything in that?
But we're being bombarded with random elements that can just inspire thoughts that we would never naturally think of because we're not thinking of those two elements together. That's where the word generators become useful, particularly for like Aston movie.
Yeah, like Mind Turtle as a character exists because I went onto Twitter like 10 years ago and I went, send me words, and one person sent me the word boom and one person sent me the word like turtle, and it was like, yeah, fuck it. What if they exploded? That's funny. So, yeah. And then I just stole Elmo's voice.
And in other places, we just like, we would just watch stuff that would just kind of inspire us. You know, we watched through the entirety of I Think You Should Leave.
Yeah, I mean,
and we came away being like, that was good. I think we can do better than that.
Yeah. That was a weird one. Yeah.
We could do punchlines, for one. Yeah, we know how to end a sketch.
It's a weird show. It's a strange thing.
What's the craziest piece of content that you've created that probably people didn't even get a chance to see?
Oh God. Well, I mean, one of the craziest things we did was an advert for Surfshark, who are sponsoring this panel, I think. Yeah.
Make some noise.
They're a VPN. Use code Tom. Anyway, yeah. So we did an advert, obviously, for them, for this video I did about Thomas the Tank Engine, and it was illegal. The whole advert got. It was a crime, and literally the advertising standards authority in the UK were like, "Lol, delete this," and we had to, because we'd basically just crossed the line and just like made something that was just so. Too extreme to be.
Tell us more.
It's called the torture ad, which should have been the red flag, really. Basically, I was doing a thing where I was trying to create an advert that was just so offensive that it couldn't be approved, and then it kept, and then they approved it, and it was like, oh no, but actually this is bad, and they were like, go on. I was like, fuck, all right. And like the ad, it's a brutal ad. Like it just, like I bought a real pair of knuckle dusters for it, which was also illegal. It was legally a paperweight, according to Etsy. And yeah, we just did this advert where I'm just like beating up a guy who is supposed to be just an average audience member until he agrees to get Surfshark, and then the joke is that I threatened to do it to all of you. And yeah, literally like.
I'm chopped up in a body bag.
Yeah, you're dead for like getting NordVPN or something in the ad. Same company. And yeah, like it was just the government were like, no, dude, you can't. This is horrible.
Yeah.
I know you're like, I know. Yeah, and they were like, well, we're gonna have a big review about this, and I went, I'll just delete it. It's cool. I know it's bad. And they were like, we're going to go have a review. And then 3 months later, like, oh my God, delete this. And I was like, I would have deleted it 3 million views ago. What? You made me leave it up, guys.
Yeah. We got so obsessed with pushing the line pushed back.
It was a lot.
Does it push back up?
A few times. I've been in trouble with specifically the advertising laws 3 times.
You kind of invented
in
laws.
a way. I was a part of a campaign that was so disastrous that they made laws. In 2014, we did a campaign for Oreo. And
Lawbreaker, lawmaker.
Big time. But Oreo were just like, yeah, don't say it's sponsored. I was like, what do you... I feel like I morally should. And they were like, just don't. So what? So we just did an ad that was just like, yeah, we just did this for no reason. And obviously that was illegal. And they had like formally made the laws. So that's like why like YouTubers had to put like ad or spawn in the title or thumbnail of videos, is because of that campaign.
And then YouTube eventually integrated, this has paid product placement and stuff into the UI. So it did create major change across the platform,
which was good, and I fully agree with those decisions. So
yeah,
and then last year we did another advert where I smashed a glass over Eddie's head, and that also had to be deleted because I smashed a glass over Eddie's head. And even though it was not real,
it was fake glass, but
it did still lacerate your head. Yeah, it was. I hit it very hard, so it was like we get one take, so I was like fucking. And yeah, like there's like we add CG blood on him, but it's like there's real blood in the shot.
It's like just a little cut, but like yeah, it's there.
It was funny.
Anybody got any questions? Again, I invite you to stand by the microphone if you want to ask anything.
Anyone want to do some freestyle?
Yeah, whatever.
Anyone going to type 5?
So was that something that you were dreaming of doing as you were growing up, guys?
Breaking the law.
Yeah, specifically.
I think I'll try that again. Yeah, when I was about 11 years old, I just decided I want to make things on the internet. I don't have any plan beyond that. I'm just going to make things on the internet, and that was just the journey I started on. So it really has just been the only thing I've wanted to do, and luckily there's become ways to make money while doing that, either through ad revenue on YouTube or through sponsorship. So yeah, pretty much this is just what I've wanted to do, and to be able to create ads that are fun and interesting and challenging, and like people will actually watch through, because that's the challenge, you know, make an ad that people won't just be like skip. To create something that's like fun enough that it's worth watching is a challenge. It's made making ads interesting.
It's to the point where we're making videos and people are skipping to the ad.
That's fun.
They're like, they want to get to see the ad because they want to know what we're going to do next.
I know, which is mad. We've had an entire prop alien built for an ad that we're doing, and we just shot a sketch at Surfshark. And the CEO of Surfshark was like, "Can I be in it?" And it's like, "Yeah." And he's playing an assistant, which is funny.
To an actual shark.
To an actual, yeah. It's a whole thing, and it's one of the, and it's probably the tamest ad we've done as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, I still die in it, but it's like, it's tame by our standards.
Yeah, we were like, what is a brand safe way of killing you?
Yeah, drones. You know how it is. Hey,
we got a question.
Yeah, I saw the latest video, and there was something about a new game, and I really wanted to know more about it. So can you tell a little bit more?
Great question.
Can we talk about it?
I have no idea. We haven't signed any
contracts
contracts
yet.
Let's go. I mean, yeah, so basically we are working on
an interactive card game.
Is it even a card game? I don't think it's a card game.
There are cards.
It's basically it's essentially truth or dare. Mm-hmm. Just like a fun, like I think it's a game that's going to be very good for like if you're drunk, I guess, or like streaming. You know, it's supposed to be quite like it's a game that's basically do something difficult or embarrassing or risk losing the game. God, it's so hard to explain without like giving too much away.
But yeah, it's like a truth or dare card game, but it includes a famous Aston movie character
who has a button and explodes and sounds like Elmo. You know, so yeah, it should be really fun. We're playtesting it. We had one. We did a proper playtest recently, and it's like, yeah, that was fun.
It's fun. It's fun.
But the main issue with this game is we just don't know who to target it to, because. Like there's 3 versions of the game currently. There's a version that's like suitable for 8-year-olds, there's a version suitable for 13-year-olds, and there's a version suitable for adults. And the adult one is too horny, to be honest. And the 8-year-old one is just like a bit too tame.
Because the problem is, 8-year-olds don't give a shit about Truth or Dare.
They'll just do it. Yeah.
I'll dare you to do a backflip. They're like, okay, you know.
No, now he's dead. And we don't want more lawsuits on our hand. I have no idea how many kids have ended up in the hospital from doing the flop. But it's not 0, is it?
It was just before TikTok was a thing, and thank God.
Yeah, God, if that had become a TikTok trend, holy shit. But yeah, so we're working on this game, and the current plan is that it'll be a Kickstarter thing as well. So if that happens, you'll be the first to know.
It's being broadcasted on the internet as well, so
oh shit,
got pretty public right here. All right, another question. Here we go.
Yes, thank you. I was going to ask, do you have any advice to establish an audience as an online animator in this day and age when, well, yeah, that's basically it.
TikTok? Genuinely is the advice at this point?
Best solution.
Yeah, because, yeah, it's like, animation is it's a brutal landscape, I think, for animation, and that, you know, what works for animation on YouTube has shifted over the years. Like, obviously 10, 15 years ago, it was like great to do little animated sketches, you know, so you could spend a few months making something like of a high quality that's a few minutes long, and then that would be well received. And then YouTube started to shift towards, you know, more consistent uploads and longer videos, and that's why animated story times became such a big thing. But now, with the rise of TikTok, you're seeing
the return of the short form.
Yeah, but the return of really quick fire, like things, you know, ice cream sandwich and a lot. I mean, a good, like Ketnips, who's here, like like people doing kind of like quick and like simple and fun animations.
Because part of the problem is trying to get it in front of people's eyes, and whilst the TikTok algorithm is so random and it's very difficult to like guarantee any success, but it is probably the best chance to just randomly appear in people's feeds, and it creates a brand recognition. If you have a particular art style or a particular kind of, you know, gimmick or something you do in your work, then over time people will pick up on that, and from that you could maybe springboard into longer form or comics or something else.
Yeah, I mean, because the whole concept of a brand is both gross and depressing, but also just a reality for making stuff online, especially now. And yeah, like TikTok is a great way at launching your brand and getting brand recognition. I fucking hate. I hate it. Don't get me wrong, but it is kind of the reality.
There's a degree of playing the game a little bit, which sucks because you just want to make cool stuff. You just want to make the art.
But you can, and the thing is, you can still do that. So, and that's the important thing to note, is that you can still make cool stuff, and that can still be acknowledged and rewarded. It's just about putting it in the right place to find an audience.
It's the line of being like playing ball, but playing it your way. You know?
Yeah, because like oh, no, that's gone.
Oh.
Just full reboot. Shut down. No.
Thank you.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the question.
Dude, the end of my point was so good as well.
Up?
Damn it.
No? All right.
Oh, hold on.
Here we go.
It's time.
Hello there. Could you please give some backstory about the how I Like Trains appears?
Sure.
And on the topic, actually, I'm interested how technically things changed since then. You know, how did you've been drawing stuff back in those days, like maybe Flash or anything? How is it better to do now because things changing? I can't get up with everything, you know. Yeah. But I'm actually really interested to hear how that character appears.
I feel like there were a few questions in there. But how did I Like Trains happen as a joke? I just thought it'd be really funny that a kid says something and then something really terrible happens. The original version of the sketch was I like dinosaurs, and then a T-Rex ate some children. And then I was at a train station and there was a really fast train, and I was like, it would be funny if I was hit by that. And it would be. Like, there's something, death is funny when it's really quick. I think, you know, that's why like the Family Guy fall is funny. Like the abrupt and just suddenness of it.
Yeah, there's almost like no in-betweens. It's just up.
Yeah, the faster someone dies, the funnier it is, strictly in a comedic sense. You know, cancer, slow, not funny. If a tree falls on you, that's funny. You know, it's like, oh no, it was a father of three. What is that? But it was kind of funny. You know, so yeah, just immediate death is funny, comedically speaking.
I mean, especially if that's a movie, it's about the minimal amount of information
Yeah.
to get the punchiest result. And so that kind of instantaneous gun, explosion, train.
Yeah, and ideally delivering a punchline before the audience can figure out what might happen as well is the thing. In terms of how things, I mean, how did it also start? I mean, with Asta's movie, it started as a comic that I was drawing to the best of my very limited artistic ability, and then like in 2008, a 13-year-old kid messaged me and was like, I like your comics. Can I, if you voice some stuff for me, I'll animate some of your comics. And that's how the whole series started, was like, I did some free voice acting for this kid, and then he for free animated the first Asta movie. I didn't know it would make me money at the time, all right? Like the first paycheck I ever got from YouTube, like 6 months later, I like went to the cash machine and like got out like a third of that paycheck, and I was like, here you go, buddy, 20 pounds. And then like years later, I was like, okay, here's $1,000 at least, sorry. That was fucked, but I was like 18, I didn't know. So, yeah.
Yeah. There's been a bit of a learning curve in terms of like working with online animators and what is fair rate and stuff like that, because everyone's been figuring out at the same time. You know.
Oh yeah, it's all just fully made up. Like, how much is an hour of your life worth?
Yeah, because obviously it's different to traditional media, which is like way more expensive, but obviously gets broadcast way further. So we've all been sort of learning together what an industry standard is for online animation. So it's just been, yeah,
it's weird.
A learning curve.
How did it change technically?
Technically, not much, really. Like, the process of creating something is still the same, I think, today as it was 15 years ago for me. Like, I'll record a bit of dialogue into the same audio program as I did before, edit it the same way, and then, yeah, like, it's just, instead of Macromedia Flash now, it's called Adobe Animate. So technically, it's all pretty much the same. Now we have Discord instead of MSN. Like, I don't know, yeah, it's all...
Yeah, I mean, we work with other animators to sort of put it together for us, and so each one of them, whilst there is a general uniform style to the Asta movie characters, they still bring their own little takes to it. You know, one animator may do a full animation differently to another, and I think those like little personality quirks at least allow them to add a little voice to the complete piece. But yeah, technically, I mean, beyond beginning days, you would work entirely solo.
Yeah.
And now I'm part of the brainstorming process for this, and it's quite grueling.
Yeah.
it's quite a
it's
nightmare.
Very demoralizing.
It is a nightmare process, because we like, for every Asta movie, there's maybe about 20 jokes on average.
Yeah.
Maybe for
like
the final
that go in, yeah.
For the final minute and a half to 2 minutes, it's maybe about 20 jokes, but we will come up with 100 of them. Like, we will just go back and forth.
We'll come up with like 100 per joke that goes in. Like, it is.
Yeah.
There is a lot that doesn't go in.
And it's because it's obviously it's a demanding, like, we want to maintain the highest possible quality, but it's just exhausted to keep coming up with more and more and more ideas. But, you know, if we want it to be good, we've got to, like, not let our ego into the picture and just allow for a joke that we might have entire full confidence being funny. Let it go. Yeah. You know, it's for the betterment of the complete piece. So,
and also sometimes I'm wrong, like, as well. Like, I'll be like, this joke is really good and it's not, or this joke sucks and it's a banger.
We would never expect that. There's my boy. Oh no, my boy would become a TikTok viral meme or anything like that. Yeah, that's not. We didn't plan it to be. That was almost, I think, one of the filler jokes we had, because we were like short on a couple of ideas, but it resonates with people, and you can't predict that. So as much as we can be as perfectionist as possible, we still don't know.
Yeah, it's so unpredictable.
How to avoid letting your ego take control, the thing that you've mentioned, because a lot of people are doing public things because of their ego. How do you keep it in a safe zone?
I think the biggest mistake I made creatively was disassembling my ego, is the truth. Like, I used to be, creatively speaking, very sure of myself, very confident, and, you know, because of just life, I got progressively more humbled, but that humility led to chronic self-doubt, basically. And so I'd suddenly be like, oh, this isn't going to work. And I just could only see the negative and could only see critically. I couldn't even edit my own comedy sketches anymore because it'd be like, this isn't funny. So in certain ways, it's good to, not have an ego, but I think creatively, it's good to believe in yourself and what you're doing and that, have that faith, because if you have that faith and that passion, people will pick up on that. But it's obviously it's a balancing act. But I definitely went too far the other way. I shredded too much of my ego. Like, one of the biggest mistakes of my career is Beep Beep I'm a Sheep. I was so convinced that was not going to do well that I didn't upload it. And I just told Todd, who'd made the song, I was like, you can upload it. This isn't gonna. I don't think this is gonna do well. Second most popular thing, ever. It's got tens of millions. I think it's got 100 million views or something ridiculous like that. But I was just so blinded by self-doubt that I was like, yeah, this sucks.
It's another one of those balancing acts where it's like, you got to be humble enough, or at least open enough to hear suggestions and ideas from other people and accept you could be wrong, but trying to maintain a creative vision. You're still aiming for something and you know what it is, and it's just trying to take everyone's ideas and suggestions and funnel it into what you want it to be. Even if people disagree, if it's what you believe in and what you want, then that's what you got to push forward for.
Mm-hmm.
Working with brands, how do you find them? How do they find you? Are you working with anybody? Are you picky about that?
We just work with Surfshark, really. That's mostly it. So we have management who, their job is to basically find brand deals and then just take their cut of that money. And that's the relationship we have. That's the symbiotic relationship that we have with them. And they'll come to us and be like, yeah, this brand has this much money and they want you to do this, and it'll be kind of like a yes or no game based on whether or not we want to work with them. Sometimes it's like, no, I would never work with that brand. That's super unethical. And they'll be like, well, they're offering this much money. We'll be like, okay, we'll make it work. Certain games. The ones. We've had full-blown full-blown gambling apps though reach out to us, and well, not that they're not already gambling apps, but we've had casino apps reach out and be like, yeah, just promote this, but don't say the word gambling. It's just be use words like fun. It's no, I'll promote gambling as long as I can call it gambling. Hey, this is gambling. It's addictive. But if you want to do it, I don't know, it's your life. But then when there's yeah, don't market it as this, be deceptive. It's no,
Yeah, we try to be discreet and pick and choose who we work with, but at the same time, it's just ensuring that a brand is because it's in the brand's interest that whatever you deliver for them, it's in the same voice of your video. So if a brand wants to work with Tom's stuff, it's in their best interest and Tom's, but it is also of a comedic, light-hearted, maybe or even dark comedy nature, because that the audience will go from Tom's video to the ad and enjoy that too, and then back to the video. If it's an abrupt, okay, seriously, let's do all these talking points as blandly and as without any frills on it, then people just skip it because they can.
And 90% of the brands that reach out to us just want that. They just want us to be like, wow, do you wear pants? I wear pants, and these new pants are really cool. And it's that's fucking. No one's going to give a shit. But if you let me do a sketch where it's like, Eddie, I've gone and shit myself again. What am I going to do? Well, Tom, let me have fun with it. Then people, it'll
resonate better. It's better for the brand. It's better for you. It's better for the audience. Everyone wins.
There's a reason why when I said Surfshark earlier, people cheered. Because they've let me have fun and they've let me do something that's actually enjoyable to watch.
And as a result, the audience has a great reputation with. Well, Surfshark has a great reputation with the audience because they know they're in for a fun one.
Just as a brand, it's they're a cool one,
Yeah.
So when we work with brands, that's just what we say. We're just look, this is how we know it works for our audience. Let us do this, or we walk.
Yeah.
We're currently doing a video for a brand, and I've just said, like, you know, we've made the video, but I've just said, like, look, if you want me to change this, I'm just going to drop out, because it's already, like, on, like, a thin edge of just, like, this is already, like, pushing the line of, like, it's becoming inauthentic. And if they're like, oh, now can you remove that joke and remove that joke and actually add in more talking points, it's just like, look, this is just going to be a bad video. It's going to make you look bad. It's going to make me look bad. It's just not worth the money. Because, yeah, if I lose the trust of the audience, then I need to hold on to that for two reasons, morally and all that stuff, but also there's just more work to be made if you sit through the ads. And if I can only guarantee that is by making ads that are worth watching. I don't know. Yeah, so. Ads!
We got any questions, maybe?
Good questions, to be clear. If you went and sat back down, that would be really funny.
Is it going to be a good question?
I'm kidding.
Promise?
Earlier, when you were talking about the whole ego and humility and all of that, it's kind of a similar question in a way, but which is, have you ever continued to do something that you personally hated, but your audience responded really well to it? Like, everyone loves a certain joke or a certain gimmick, and you think, I don't like doing this, but I'm going to do it because people love it.
A lot of people think that that's my relationship with Ask Stuff Movie, but it's not. Like, I've always sort of found there to be, I've always found a challenge to be had with making a new Ask Stuff Movie. So I've always just been happy to make it and stuff. Like, I think towards the end, like I did Ask Stuff Movie 13, and I was like, cool, I've done all I want to do with that now. And then I basically just told my management, like, I'm done unless there's a brand deal that, like, you know, makes it worth doing another one, and then immediately there was. So Ask Movie 14 was made, and then I sort of said, like, okay, I'll make 15 when I now want to. I no longer feel I need to prove myself. So there hasn't been a huge rush to make one. But there now is a challenge to making an Ask Movie 15, which is YouTube has just made it really hard to make them, because it's like, oh, there was a violence or a reference to suicide, we're killing the video. So that's actually kind of an interesting challenge now, is for me to try and make or for us to try and make a new Ask Stuff movie that doesn't rely on the jokes I'm constantly falling back on these days, which
but still maintains its dark comedy, its edge. But, like, can we weave through the censorship and the click for suicide helpline thing that pops up?
But to be fair, like, the earlier Ask Stuff movies, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, they had very few suicide jokes in them. So it's like, it can be done. I think I got kind of lazy and reliant on this.
Well, that's the thing we're saying about that kind of instant punchline. When it's a gun and it's an explosion, then there's going to be a lot of guns and explosions. So it's just fine. Well, is there
but a more creative workaround? You know, to that. So. Yeah, I think there's very few times I've done something I actively didn't want to do. Like, one of them was a video called The Presentation Game 2. Like, we did a little video called The Presentation Game, and it was really funny, and everyone loved it, and people wanted the sequel so bad. But it was like, now I was too anxious to do it, but I, like, forced myself to do it, and I hated it.
Because it had to meet a standard.
Yeah, like, I was like, now I have something to compare it to. Now it can fail. When I did it for the first time, it was like, this is just fun, but now it's like, I can do it badly. And I just, that anxiety just absolutely crushed me. Sorry.
I think we've been lucky. We've not been forced to make something we really don't want to do. And I think at worst, we've like, look, fine, let's just still do it our way. Let's still find a way to make it in our voice. You know, then there's at least some redeeming element to it. It's still fun, you know, even if, you know, if we may not necessarily like the brand, or we may not necessarily like whatever it is, if we can still have fun with it, then it's still worth something.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you haven't tried yet in your career and you would like to try?
Who's clapping for meth? Yeah, meth. Woo! Lithuania, you crazy girl. Is there anything we haven't tried? I mean, like, you know,
feature length?
Yeah, like making something that's, you know, actually trying to break out of the online space and into traditional media, like, you know, making a movie or an actual animated pilot. That's like the kind of the one thing that I did always want to do, was to make an actual animated series.
Or a live show.
Or, yeah, a live action sketch show. That would be the ultimate dream for me, is just to kind of just be able to make live action sketches.
Like there's almost a formula of making comedy sketches or animated sketches work on YouTube, because we're like it's catering it to a different audience, but then live action audience, it's an entirely different environment. You know, you
like TV, you mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like if we're doing something live, like on stage.
Oh, live. Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, that is a different environment to an online space. So jokes won't land as well because you don't have like you can't have
visual effects and
the
stuff.
stage abruptly end like a video abruptly ends. You know, like a perfectly cut scream or something. So it's a completely different medium. So it's going to be an interesting challenge to, if we were to try it out, having to translate what we do to a different kind of audience.
Yeah, so my management is very, 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 very much pushing me to do a stage show. And I'm so scared. Because it's genuine, it's really scary. Like it's fine being up here because there's no expectation, there's no script, there's nothing I can get wrong. I mean, if I said a slur, that would probably be bad. It's a pretty wide audience. I don't know, we get away with it. I'm joking. That was a little joke. But the thing is, like, it's because it's unscripted, there's no pressure, and so we can be light and we can have fun. But if we're on stage and there is a script and a structure, I can fuck that up. You could fumble a joke, and now the room's quiet.
Yeah, you can't go back and redo that joke.
That's the scariest thing. That's so scary. Like,
or if a joke just fucking dies on its ass.
Yeah,
like,
it just doesn't work.
It just falls flat and no one laughs. It's like, oh God, and you pause for laughter and everything and nothing happens. You're like, oh God.
Yeah, I'm worried.
You start laughing yourself.
I'm worried. I'd be like, oh, you're not supposed to. You shouldn't acknowledge it if the crowd doesn't like a joke. But I think I would. I'd be like, I'll just go fuck myself then. Yeah. Like it's gonna be, oh God. So yeah, that's the most likely thing on the chopping block is to do a live thing. I'm so scared.
You're warming up now. It's gonna be okay. Any questions? Please.
Hi. So I have a question about changing content and offensive humor. I was wondering about, do you think there's a sort of, based on both creator change and platform pressure, do you think there's a sort of effect of pulling up the ladder behind you? Or do you think that, nowadays people will just still find young people will find whoever makes what they want to watch in terms of, like you mentioned suicide jokes being immediately canned or something like that. So just that sort of.
Can you word the question slightly differently? Sorry,
So,
it's all right. I got confused.
110 BPM. I'm freaking out here.
You're doing fine. Don't worry.
So, with the changing material and content, with suicide jokes being, or like violence being, both due to creators and due to platform pressure being sort of phased out, do you think there will be an effect of sort of pulling up the ladder behind you with creators that got that notoriety through, quite offensive humor? I don't want to lump you into that group necessarily. Or do you think that there will still be something, perhaps the way that TikTok has had people go around censors you with using weird spellings or something like that?
Yeah. Okay, I have a lot to say about this. So it's absolutely, like there's a huge sanitization of the internet going on right now, and I fucking hate it. And it's bad. It's a really bad thing that's going on, and it isn't the result of political correctness, and it's not the result of
complaining parents.
It's exclusively because Coca-Cola wants to feel comfortable running their ads next to any video on the internet. And so what you get is, you can't say the word die, you can't say kill, you can't say cancer, you can't say prostitute, you can't say anything. You can't say Gaza. Like, you can't say anything because, that might be controversial.
No sexual education.
Yeah, no sexual education, nothing. And so anything that might run the risk of being remotely controversial, it gets algorithmically suppressed, demonetized, age restricted, and it just really sucks. Like, it's because it's, I'm not like, I can't make suicide jokes anymore, because, whatever. But like, to an extent, I've done a lot of stuff like working with those themes, and it's resonated with people, and it's helped them work through their own issues. Like, I've been working through my issues with it, and people have watched that, and they've been like, okay, I'm processing emotions, yada, yada. Art, basically. And now that's not even allowed, and it sucks. Because yeah, like I get what you're saying when you talk about potentially creators who got famous off of making really edgy stuff and now they're not doing edgy stuff, and how that can seem like they're pulling up the ladder behind them. To an extent, I feel like that could also be people growing, but also they are chasing that bag. Like the YouTubers now said, like, oh, if you do that shit, you're getting done. So
and even past videos have been hit. It's not like we continue to benefit from those past videos.
Yeah, there's like 4 Astor movies still have ads on them. Like, it's bad.
Yeah. And this could have been your retirement. You could have one day quit YouTube and go and live a happy life and just, quietly earn money from people still watching those videos. But you can't now because they've been hit by ads, blocked ads.
Yeah, and it's grim. So, but yeah, and again, if it were because like the world were getting kinder or whatever, it'd be like, okay, but it's not. It's just exclusively because the App Store doesn't want to risk there having an app that you might see a boobie on or something. It's purely to appease to corporate advertisers. So
capitalism bad?
And yeah, capitalism have big flaws, namely just in freedom of expression stuff. So yeah, big cringe. Don't love it. Don't know if there's not an answer in that. It just makes me real mad. I think you should be able to say fuck and kill and suicide and all of this stuff, because what are we doing?
I mean, in the end, if people just say unalive to trade in for saying die, then eventually what's to stop unalive becoming a banned word? It's just going to keep changing everyone's language until we're all saintly and boring.
But it's also, it's softening the language, and it means we're no longer acknowledging the reality of our reality. Because when someone dies, I think we should say that they died. Because it's bad that they died. And it's like, oh, there are loads of people getting unalived in the Middle East. It's like, no, I don't like that. Let's say die. It's bad. We should acknowledge it in whatever way we want to. Yeah. Anyway, I will go off for hours, and it's probably not the time or place. But yeah.
By changing the name of the condition, we're not going to change the condition. Probably. No, that's the conclusion. Yeah. All right, go ahead. Another question.
Hey guys.
Hi.
You said you didn't try meth, so maybe you could try my product. It's 99% pure and best in the market.
Because the meth.
So jokes aside, did you ever worked so hard and so long, so you just suddenly understood that you were working without sleep for days and without eating? You are such into your project.
Do I look like I skip meals? I mean, so are you asking if there's been times that we've just worked for so long that we've just not eaten or slept and stuff,
kind of thing?
Or what are we asking here? I don't know why I made that so intense.
I'm just asking, were you into your thing so deep you lost the sense of time?
Right.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, loads of times. Like most Astor movies have been all-nighters.
Yeah.
Like most times we release an Astor movie for no reason. It'll just have been
well, there's a big reason. You're nervous. Like it's a big it's a statement, I guess, to make an Astor movie, because it's like there's such a standard to keep up with, and so you will and have multiple times obsess over it, particularly the day of the upload. You could be up the entire night.
Which is bad, because I make bad decisions.
That joke before that joke, and then move it back again, and then go back again, and just over and over and over.
And like half of Astor movies have been finished, locked, and uploaded at about 6 a.m. when I'm deeply sleep deprived and not making good decisions. And it's like, yeah, let's release that. No, Tom, just wait, go to sleep, and then think about it. Like, yeah, like there's been times when I was like, I've deleted really good jokes and put in bad ones, and been like, okay, and then woke up like, oh fuck, what do they do? Which is also what happened last time I was in Lithuania. Drunk. But yeah, so yes, yeah, absolutely. I think
it's not a healthy thing to do.
Don't do it.
Don't do that.
But you're going to anyway, so
thank you.
It's the reality of making stuff.
Another question? Shoot.
Few. Sorry. It's really nice to see you come back since last year, and you brought some friends. I could only imagine that it was fun last year. So since the last time you were here, the whole creative industry, I guess, was really shook by AI and the whole ChatGPT and the whole AI industry shook the whole creative things. So my question is, what's your relationship with artificial intelligence on creativity? And do you go against it and you're like, oh, this is bad, we should go old school, or you take it into your creative?
Oh God! I mean, you found the other thing that I could talk about really passionately for a long time. The very short version is, I would love to be able to use AI just as a tool, but I do currently view it as a threat. Don't get me wrong, there's loads of times when making a YouTube thumbnail where it would just be so much easier to just be like, yeah, it'd be funny if you just put my head on make a thumbnail of me in a suit in front of a crowd, Lightning McQueen is there, boom, cool. There's loads of occasions where it'd be like, that would be so much easier and really help work. We use AI in everything we do all the time. Any time we take a photo these days, or anything, even spell check is a version of AI in a way. It's permeated into all of our lives, but all of a sudden it's now at a stage where it could completely replace creatives in certain sectors, namely the ones that I do. I don't like that very much. So yeah, it's the thing where it's again, I'd love to just use it as a tool, but unfortunately I have to take something of a stance against it at the moment, until we figure that out.
Yeah. I did an experiment. So I do video essays on my channel, and I did an experiment where I used ChatGPT to just brainstorm some ideas for me, and it did, and they weren't very good. And but it came a lot of generic stuff, talk about how Jumanji discusses themes, and it's that. I mean, yeah, sure, but I don't know. There's nothing. But I think it might help with brainstorming. But then when I did a test, I'd be like, okay, write me an essay. Show me what that looks like, and it's the most generic. It's like a Wikipedia article. It's there's nothing in it beyond cold facts, which are functional. If you just want the information, great. But I think what people come to YouTube videos for is a piece of the creator themselves. I think there's a bit of your soul that has to go into your creative work, and then it becomes more of a story, of a narrative or something. I've made a video essay where I talked about cartoon dads, and in doing so, I talked about my feelings as a dad, and AI wouldn't do that. AI couldn't invent being a dad and how this personally resonates with you, what you learn from it, how you wish you could do better and that kind of thing. It would never say that. So whatever AI does, it still can't fake humanity, the personal lived experiences of people. So I think, yes, it can it can be used as a good tool, but it couldn't and shouldn't replace people, because ultimately people,
specifically us,
but people are stories and stories are people.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. And our time for the discussion is up. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Show some love,
everyone.
and thank you.